Tracking a lot there at the Lucas County Board of Elections in the early vote center this past couple of weeks. We saw a lot of people coming out to make their voices heard early, and tonight it's being used at a little bit of a different capacity there at the Board of Elections. I-Team reporter Sean Hegarty is out there with us. Let's bring him in. Sean, what is going on at the Board of Elections tonight? What's the process like to get all these votes in here and counted and circulated, and what are you seeing happening out there at this hour?
Yeah, Josh, good evening. Wanted to let you know that the process of bringing the cards back is underway here at the Lucas County Board of Elections. So this is the outdoor tally and collection area for those boxes and those memory cards that will come in. They're coming from White House to Oregon, all throughout the county. What will happen now is they'll be checked in here and then taken inside for processing and counting. In speaking with some members of the Board of Elections earlier today, they said this is one of the smoothest elections they had seen. Very minimal problems out there. When you heard about lines that people were encountering, the biggest issue they said there was the length of the ballot. A lot of people throughout Ohio, if they voted on issue 1, know that that was a very lengthy ballot issue. So they weren't seeing technical issues. They were not seeing issues in the process. They were just seeing a lot of voters taking their time going through the levy issues, talking about the different candidates. There were a lot of those on there as well. So it will certainly be a long night here, and you see the crews getting ready to collect them. But Josh, they really have not seen a lot of major issues, so they don't anticipate there being an issue on this end, but a long way to go, certainly.
In the past few elections, Lucas County has been one of the last counties to fully report those initial results on election night. Do we expect that to happen here tonight? And what is the explanation that we've been given in the past for some precincts reporting slower than others?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you a prediction because you just never know with this, but the mantra has been, Lavera Scott has said this over and over again to anybody that would listen, that she'd rather be right than first. And that has been the mantra here, and you heard it again today from folks in here, that they want to make sure that everything is done right, that all the votes are counted properly, and all the processes are done properly. You've got a very large county and a lot of people doing a lot of work, and it's been a long day. Those polls have been open for a long time, so you have a lot of poll workers that are putting in a full day of well past 12 hours worth of work, and then for all intents and purposes, the most important part of their day becomes collecting it properly and getting it to the right place to be counted. So that's simply humans just being tired. So that can always factor into doing something like this. And what they'll do is they'll take them from some of the outlying areas to more of a collection point and then go further. For example, if you go out as far as like Bono and Oregon, a collection point closer, move it here into West Sylvania Avenue in West Toledo, the opposite direction, White House, Waterville, those kind of things, smaller collection point to West Toledo where we are standing. So those are some of the difficulties of trying to physically get them here and make sure that everything's done right. There is an entire process to shutting down and to putting these memory cards and all of the materials that go with it in the proper places. You're doing bipartisan teams. It takes time, so that's a lot of it, but you're not going to hear anybody here say that they would sacrifice the quality and sacrifice the accuracy over any sort of time.
We also had a story in our evening newscasts about courts staying open a little bit later today, just in case there were any issues or they needed to extend hours anywhere. It doesn't seem like we had any of those issues pop up either that courts needed to address tonight, right?
None that I've heard. I was talking to Tim Monaco earlier. He is with the Board of Elections, second in command here at the Board of Elections, and we were talking a little bit about some of the issues that the state of Pennsylvania was seeing and some of their polling places staying open a little later. He'd not heard anything in the state of Ohio, let alone here in Lucas County, so that is a very good thing. And the judges, they do this, and I had not heard of this before, but they do this, they stay at the ready, they're available for the challenges like that, but at this point we have not heard anyone running to any sort of judges for any sort of major challenges, and we've not seen any major challenges that might even rise to the occasion of leading to a court system. But it is going to be a process here throughout the rest of the night. And I wanted to read something, Josh. I know you got a lot going on today. You were talking about the mayoral term limit issue with Lee there a few minutes ago, and you were talking a little bit about what current Mayor Wade Kapsakavich has to say. I actually have the text message that he sent to me regarding that statement. Here's a quote from Mayor Kapsakavich. "Being mayor has been the greatest honor of my professional life. I love serving the citizens of Toledo, and I can't imagine ever having another job I would enjoy more than this one. I think we're making progress in Toledo, and if given the chance, I would absolutely run for another term next year." That's a direct quote from Mayor Wade Kapsakavich. So as we see those results coming in, and I was just checking 13abc.com and what the Lucas County Board of Elections is reporting, it looks as though at this point that is all early voting. It's still showing on the Lucas County Board of Elections website 0 full precincts reporting. So that number seems to be early and absentee, which is what you're seeing throughout the rest of the county. So what you'll see when the memory cards start to come in, those precincts will start to pick up. Some of those numbers will be picking up. They have the absentees, they have the early votes already loaded into a system. They're not counted, they're loaded, so they're ready to go, and they can hit the button and then start to process them. So that's why you see all of those numbers trickle in early on. It's not that they're counted ahead of time, they're loaded up and ready to go. They never press enter, if you will, to start counting them. So for anybody that thinks they were counting votes ahead of time, not the case.
And no issues so far to report. That is a good report to hear from IT reporter Sean Haggerty there. Thanks for giving us all of those updates.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to mention before we let you off the hook?
I have to just say this. A lot of us have been here for a lot of tumultuous nights here at the Lucas County Board of Elections, and as it is starting at this point, we do not see that. We do not see angst. We do not see people running around. We have seen people literally nose to nose here at the Board of Elections. We're not seeing that today. We've seen actually a cohesive group over the last several elections. We've seen the Board of Elections getting along, moving methodically through what they do in a bipartisan way. Certainly there are some times where people butt heads on things, but the angst and the issues that we saw 8, 10, 12 years ago, you just don't see that anymore, and many hope that we will not see that as we get into tonight.
Brighter days. Sean Haggerty, thank you very much for that live report. You'll see him throughout the night on TV there as well. Sean Haggerty once again.